system that I'm planning out for some aquaponics. Bricks stacked with boards, fish, grow beds with rocks or hydroton, something like that. But I went and got all the stuff. All of this stuff, I actually did buy everything from the Home Depot. And I believe that everything here, the bricks, the boards, the tubs, tons of connectors, parts for the bell siphons, a bunch of tubing. I think we've spent about 200 bucks, if I had to guess. Yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say about 200 bucks. So now you can see how my design is going to be with just fish down here. These buckets will drain into the fish tank and then be pumped up into the grow beds. Have the bell siphons, 4 of them. These are fairly small. This is my first attempt. Just wanted to start small and see if it would work for me. I have a thumb that is anything but green. I have managed to kill most foliage around here. So we're going to see what a guy like me can do with an aquaponics system. It might be a total disaster, but it might actually be totally killer, and I'm going to check it out and see. It looked fascinating and fairly inexpensive to do, so I decided I'm going to check it out, and I'll show you how we do it as we go. Alright, so there's my first step in the process is to work on this bell siphon in this bucket. So I have got a stand, a pipe stand that goes to a little fitting with some rubber washers. It doesn't leak. It's not even really that tight. There's just a rubber washer on the top and on the bottom that goes directly to an angle. 1-inch tube just slides in here. We've got 8-inch risers with 10-inch bell siphon towers, and then we're going to put the 4-inch pipe over that one. I have tested this one and it works beautifully. It actually siphons and cycles very nice. It's a very simple bell siphon design. And now I have cut to make the second one, and I'm about to finish number 3 and number 4. So that's the next step in our process, is working on these bell siphons. And you can go online to YouTube or something and watch little animations about bell siphons and how they work. It's actually quite neat. This one is, you can see that the bottom of these buckets is not actually flat, it's molded. I know that's not fabulous, it's not really what I wanted, but it's gonna work. Yeah. So this thing doesn't stand up exactly straight, but I will get it set up straight when I put the other bell over it, all that stuff, so it'll work fine. But even just laying over like that, it still siphoned great and had no problem. So that is what we're looking at. What do you think?
I think it's good.
You think it's good?
Wow.
Alright, so we now have a pump in the water. It's like a 250 gallon per hour pump for a small, medium-sized fish pond. And this bucket is only 45 gallons, so it's pretty good. That goes up to a T. Comes over to this set of grow beds, little valves on the end. The bell siphons are working. There's just a little, I'm testing and regulating the flow of water right now so that they're not all filling up at the same time and emptying the fish tank. I don't think the fish would like that kind of variation in their water level. So I'm kind of timing them, staggering them now to be able to. These are shut off. I'm gonna work with these two first and get the timing good on these, where this one is filling up and starting to drain as this one is starting to, you know what I mean? It's kind of getting the cycle set up so it's not draining too much water out of the fish tub at one time. And that's it. Now I've bought pretty much everything to build this. I did not use any leftovers or found materials. You might have all kinds of found materials. I mean, I bought the bricks and the boards and all the pipes. Now I've got a bunch of leftover stuff that I didn't actually need, and I'll take that back to the store and get my money back. Home Depot is really good about that. And stuff that I didn't need or use. And I would say that all together, for all of the components, we're looking at about $250 if you had to buy all of the pieces. If you had stuff laying around that you could use, you could do it cheaper for sure. The big cost, I think, the pump is pretty cheap. That's only like 30 bucks. But that's a fairly decent chunk of your 250. 40 bucks, 30 bucks, something like that for a pump. If you want to buy a really nice pump that's, you know, for a bigger tank, it's going to cost you more, obviously, maybe 100 bucks if you want to get a really nice one. But if you just had PVC laying around, you could definitely make this stuff cheaper. It's your buckets, really, that are kind of expensive, especially ones that are made for aquaponics. Flat bottom, the perfect material, the perfect height. Those are kind of expensive, and that's where a lot of your cost is coming from. So I just got these roughneck 14-gallon tubs. They actually seem to be working pretty good. These bell siphons, although they're just kind of canting a little bit, I will firm everything up, tighten everything up before I put the larger bell around that to keep the gravel out. I'm just using Viagrow, I think it is called. These are river rocks is basically all it is. It's pretty cheap. Those are about $3 for that bag. I'm not exactly sure how big that bag is. It covers 3 square feet to 2 inches depth. So I'm gonna see how that works out, but those are only like $3.25 a bag. It's not too bad. You could also just grab gravel from a nearby riverbed. You could, if you had a buttload of rocks in your Xeriscape and you had extra, or you wanted to skim a little off the top, you could totally do that. Any kind of rocks will work. You can use lava rocks. Lava rocks are pretty cheap. If you want to get like for your grill, and then you can break them up. That works just fine. You see how these two tanks are filling together. I want to make sure that this one is filling closer to the top than this one is. So right now I'm going to turn this one off. No, I'm not. I messed it up. Alright, like I was saying, I want this one to fill up and begin to drain, as this one is about halfway. And I want this one to be about where it is, and that one to be about where it is. Bottom is level, a little bit higher, ready to drain, so that I don't have all 4 of these filled up at the same time to suck too much water out of our tank for the fish. I may figure out different ways of doing this, but stick with us and we'll show you how it's going.